Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing episode here tonight. You know, maybe you've been a seasoned vet at some hot pepper or hot sauce competitions, festivals, events, and maybe it's your first time or you've been thinking about attending one and uncertain how to go about that. Well, tonight we're going to talk a lot about all the different etiquette, the best to-dos, and what to expect when it comes to hot sauce festivals. So let's go ahead and kick off tonight's episode. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here rocking and rolling, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for being here and making this podcast what it is. You know, hey, this podcast is perfect for all those individuals, whether you're topping out at jalapeno or you're out there crushing Superhots like it's popcorn. This podcast is for you. So continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are just curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. So today we're going to be diving into one of my personal favorite things, and that is hot sauce festivals. Whether this is your first time or you've been thinking about attending one, we're going to touch on, what to expect, what it's like, etiquette that you should potentially want to do to enhance those around you's experience, as well as those working booths to be able to maximize their focus, their effort, and give every single person visiting the booth the best experience possible. As well as we're going to touch on some good budgeting aspects and how-tos whenever it comes to hot sauce festivals. As we all know, we are, constantly focused on what we're spending and being cautious of that. Even those of us that like to, try to get everything possible at these events know that we have another counterpart at home that would rather us not go there and try to buy the whole place. So we're going to talk about the best how-tos for that as well as we're going to throw in some sprinkle in a little bit of pro tips and things like that to go along with this. So today's podcast is going to be all around hot sauce festivals, pepper festivals, events, etc. These are all going to be pretty encompassing when it comes to that. So let's go ahead and start tonight's discussion. All right. So if you've ever been to a hot sauce festival, well, or if you haven't been, then you're in for a treat. And if you have, then you know what kind of chaotic, fury, fiery, flavor-filled joy these things bring, the camaraderie, the connections, the being able to meet the people and put faces to the company names, etc., and get to better understand how and what made them decide to create that product that you're enjoying so much. So as we're talking through these things, we're going to talk about what to expect when you show up, how to prepare for these events so that you don't just crash and burn. And we're also going to touch on how to shop smart, especially if you're on a tight budget. And, everyone's budgets are a little bit different, definitely as times have been. So ultimately, the idea is being smart with your purchases is going to be key. We're going to touch on that as well. And I've also got a top 10 list on how you can hit these booths like a pro without wasting time or money, and making sure that you make it to every single booth and get a good understanding of what they have to offer, who they are, and what they're about. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. All right, so picture this. Let's go ahead and paint the image now. You are walking in. You just got your ticket scanned. You're walking through the front doors. All of a sudden, you see rows of booths fanning out, people everywhere. Some people sweating, already dripping down. Others laughing. Others are chugging milk or beer. Everyone's talking about different heat levels and flavor profiles. and almost like they're a wine sommelier, right? So ultimately, this right there, what you just pictured, that is a hot sauce festival. You're gonna see just booths stacked on booths, and it's just gonna be this nice zigzag wide array. You may see a big stage off to the side. You may hear live music. There might be food trucks if it's an outside event. Ultimately, this place is absolutely alive. The energy is electric. It's like Comic-Con, but for capsaicin lovers, right? So you'll find local hot sauce makers sitting right next to big names. It doesn't matter. Everyone's passionate. All are excited to share with you their creations, and you'll be able to see the booths, the sauces, the rubs, the tinctures, whatever spicy snacks or pepper treats that they will have it there. And if you're asking the right questions and you are giving them the time of day, they're going to share that with you. You're going to see it, you're going to feel it, and you're going to be energized by it. It's a great experience to see. So while there, you might also see some, eating competitions, whether that be peppers or hot wings or what have you going on. So many people might be attempting a pepper competition or those hot wing challenges. You want to be over there cheering them on, really getting plugged into the vibe, the overall environment of what's happening. It is an absolute fun time. There's also, like I mentioned before, the chance of live music. There could be some food trucks if it's an outdoor event. And sometimes they'll have workshops or panels that really will either break down cooking with peppers, cooking with hot sauce, or different spicy products, and then really showing you what you can do and things to expect when using these. So absolutely fun to dive into. And don't forget, also, there's still some times where they will do a people's choice, right? So you, as the participant that is there at this festival, it gets to play a part in making a people's vote. So making sure that you are keeping a nice watch on which sauces, which products you really loved is going to be absolutely crucial in making sure that the product that you really like is getting the recognition that it should get. So, and then, well, of course, as we should all know and come to love and expect, there's sampling. So the glorious, painful, addictive sampling. Some of you might walk in there and have a no tolerance or a very low tolerance, and the amount of booths, tables, sauces, products might be mind-blowing, a little bit daunting and scary. Do not let that frighten you. We will talk through ways that you can strategically walk through each booth, explore and try and know what each one has to offer, as well as, not having to back off or feel that you can't do this, because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you can definitely do this. It's just going to be needing to be done in a specific way. So, ultimately, you'll get blown away by a lot of the overall flavor profiles and really the inspiration and the pairings that are being explained to you by these different companies that are out there talking about how their product works best with this, that, and the other. And, others, your taste buds are going to be blown off by heat. So either way, you're going to feel it, you're going to have fun, and it's going to be an absolute great time. So yeah, expect crowds, expect conversation, and expect to fall in love with at least one hot sauce, because it is going to happen. That is for sure. So up next, we're going to be talking about how do you prepare to go to one of these events. If this is your first time, going to a hot sauce festival, or, maybe you had gone before and then you kind of felt like you missed out on a lot of the experience. Well, let's go ahead and just really kind of talk through some of these ways that you can get the most out of this event without really putting yourself where you feel like you've missed something, right? So here we go. Let's talk about what you do before you hit the gates. First off, I will say I am a bit of an oddity outlier on this. So I'm going to throw my personal stance aside for this first comment because this applies for so many folks and so many need to take this in. And I highly recommend, if this is one of your first times going to a hot sauce festival, you need to do this. Eat a light meal. Don't just roll in with an empty stomach, especially if you plan to sample a whole bunch of hot sauces. If you have a lower tolerance, if you know that you are working on your tolerance, and you know that there's a lot of things you personally avoid just because of worry about the heat and how it could play in, you want to start with a light meal on the stomach. Make sure you're going in there prepared, ready to go. You want something neutral like rice, toast, eggs, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So ultimately, something there to soften that blow. Next up, this one sounds a little bit silly, I'm sure, but it does go hand in hand here, and that's hydrate. Water's your best friend. Bring a refillable water bottle if the venue allows it. If it's an outdoor event and they allow you to bring in your own food and drinks, go ahead and have some of that prepared, right? Oftentimes, the time just slips away on you, and next thing you know, you're out there, and it's been a few hours, and you haven't ate, and all you've had is a whole bunch of different hot sauces or dry rubs or seasoning blends or spicy beef jerkies, etc. The list goes on and on. So you want to make sure that you're staying hydrated, because whenever you're hydrated, it's going to be a lot better on your body. Your body's going to be able to handle and process and really help, get you through the event without having major cramps from hydration on top of cramps from just eating too much fire. Next, you're going to need cash and a card. So some booths only take one or the other. Having both avoids the disappointment of missing out on the chance that you find something that you've absolutely fallen in love with, and then only to find out, oh, sorry, this is a cash-only booth. Now, in today's day and age, that's not always the case, but you definitely would rather be safe than sorry. So having some cash set aside in case of that situation arising, and you're still able to walk away with what you want. So next up, dressing comfortable is one extremely crucial thing. You're going to be seeing a lot of people. You're going to be meeting a lot of people. Maybe some of these folks you've either met online or you've seen them through different social media posts, etc. You're going to be bumping into folks, and of course, you want to look good and feel good about yourself. But making sure that you are dressing comfortable is going to be absolutely crucial here. So, especially if it's something that's outdoors, making sure that you have something that you can walk around in, sweat in, taste in, and just really be able to enjoy and be comfortable with what you're wearing. Bringing a backpack or a tote to help hold these like water bottles, flyers, your purchases in general is going to be absolutely crucial. Here's one thing that I will also recommend as a nice helpful tip on top of this one here is making sure, if you do plan on buying quite a bit, make sure you have like a wagon or one of those foldable pop-out carts that you can stack your bottles and your purchases inside of that to wheel along with you, because once again, you're going to be out there for a couple of hours at least, at the minimum. And if you only have a backpack, sure, it'll get the job done, but man, oh man, are you going to feel it on your shoulders and on your back that day and the next day. So making sure you plan ahead and accordingly is absolutely important. I also recommend using your phone's notes app or voice memos to jot down any sauces that you like or want to revisit. This will be a nice time saver, and you'll thank yourself later whenever you start to do this, because definitely when, as a later note, when we get into breaking down how to do this on a budget, having that note list to call back on is going to be crucial, because then you can know, okay, well, I really like that one, but I also like this one. Which one did I like more, or which one would fit what I use more frequently? That's going to be really something that you're going to think yourself after the fact. So make sure you do that and make sure you handle that appropriately. Now, let's talk about how do you approach the booth like a pro. So, all right, you've made it in, you've got up to the booths, you're about to walk up, and all of a sudden you're hyped up. The booth is calling you. You're getting waved over. There's a beautiful display and array of things going on. And before you sprint on over there to the first table, let's go ahead and start talking about booth strategy. All right. First off, take a leap. Go ahead, get the lay of the land, get an understanding of where everything's at, find out where the bathrooms, where the concessions, where all the things are, so you know how you want to navigate the waters. If you know that you only have a very limited time, taking a time to look at that pamphlet and pinpointing the booths for sure that you want to hit is going to be absolutely crucial here, if you know you're working with a very short shot clock, if you will. So, first off, going to be doing that, get that lay of the land, and then you're going to, not want to just completely blow your budget all on the first table that you see. Trust me, I know it's very easy. It's something that it'll just completely slip away from you, because you're going to be just absolutely graced with so many great products to sample. It's going to be so inspiring and tasty that you're going to want to just buy everything. So making sure that you're using that first, that note system to really understand and know what you want when you walk up. So when you walk up to the booth, start asking with, what is your signature sauce, or what's your favorite? I know both of those, the signature sauce might not quite be as hard for them to answer. Oftentimes, which one's your favorite can be, depending on the person that's working the booth, be a hard question to answer. It kind of comes down to if you're speaking to the craft artists themselves, and then it becomes they're basically picking their favorite child. That part might be a little bit harder, but that what is your signature sauce is going to be nice, fine-tuned. You're going to get an understanding of what they're all about, what they want you to experience. That's where that signature sauce and the favorite sauces are really going to come in crucial. So this gets the vendor talking, and you get that great entry point into knowing what they're about, what they want you to know they're about, and what to expect. And then from there, the conversation will naturally just flow from one product to the next. So that's a great way to go about it. You don't have to sample just everything that's there. You can be intentional. There's certain ingredients that just are offered that are not typically something you want. Then don't worry, you don't have to try everything. You're not going to offend anyone by turning down a sample of a product. Now, if they're talking to you about, different sauces and different products that they have that they absolutely love and they're passionate about, definitely want to hear them out. You want to ask them some smart follow-up questions here, and that is, what foods pair well with this? That's a great one, not only for them to explain more to you, but also for you to get a better understanding of where and how this product can fit into your everyday food rotation. I know not all of us are like me and a few others who will, gladly eat hot sauce as its own standalone. But, having the knowledge of what these products pair best with is absolutely crucial. Another smart question to ask is, what makes this sauce unique? This also will engage in further conversation. You'll gain a better understanding of why they chose what they chose whenever pairing and creating this sauce. Another fun one here, and oftentimes this one will be either explained or shown on the table, but if not, this is a great one as well. What peppers are in this? I mean, you'll find out that there will be a lot of hot sauces or spicy products that you do try that maybe there's a pepper in there that as you've tried it on sampling, you're like, actually, that's pretty good. I like that a lot. And then once they explain what pepper's in there, you might not have wanted to initially act upon sampling it because of fear, of worry, of whatever you want to break it down, what that pepper has a hold in your head as far as like heat and expectations. And so you'll start to find out that, not every sauce out there is there to just completely burn you to the ground. It is crafted and intended for a reason and a purpose and a flavor and an explosion of amazingness on the taste buds. So these questions show that you care and often lead to great conversations. And, sometimes, you will find out that their love and their passion will lead to sometimes a better deal. You'll find out more about bundles, etc. So, if you're trying something you like, but you aren't ready to buy it yet, here's another thing. Once again, if you have that notepad going, go ahead, take that note down, write a very quick breakdown of what the name is, what you thought of it, keep it in that note, or you can just take a picture of the label and really use that as a way to go back and either get it at a later point in the event, barring it hasn't sold out, or you have a way of being able to know what that product was, so then you can order it online. So absolutely great way to approach the booth, engage those conversations, and get it going. Next up we have here, if you're like most of us, you've got a budget, right? Whether you personally want to have that budget or someone in your household or someone that cares about you wants you to have that budget. So let's talk about how you can maximize it. And here are my top 10 ways to shop smart at a hot sauce festival. So first up, pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to put this as number one. That's set your spending limit. Decide what your max spending budget is before you even walk out of your home. This helps keep yourself on pace and gives you clear expectations of what you're going to spend. So, first and foremost, set that spending limit. Now, next up, here's another one. This is going for unique flavors, rare pairings, things like that. This gets sauces that you can't find in stores, and that's really what these festivals are all about. It's to be able to find these unique, very non-off-the-shelf, overall sauces and products that you can get your hands on. Absolutely crucial, focusing on that, because if you can just go ahead and get it at your local grocery store, it's not going to be the end of the world if you wait another week, if you can still go get it there, when you can be picking up something that's very unique and that you couldn't just easily access, otherwise than this festivals. So, number 3 here, this is buying, I've heard many different names for these. I don't know if there's an appropriate name for these, but I almost consider them like taster bottles. These are oftentimes, you'll see vendors sell miniature bottles of the full size. So instead of it being a 5-ounce bottle or, whatever the sizing may be, many vendors will sell in like a 2-ounce version. These are great for trying without really going broke. So you can oftentimes find them in bundles of like 3, 4, 5, however many, but there'll be 2-ounce versions. So then you get a nice wide array of what's going on. Yes, it's less sauce, but you get more for the same amount of money that you might have otherwise only got 2 bottles for. So somewhere in that range, right? But that is absolutely a great way to make sure you're staying on budget and maximizing the amount of product that you are walking away with. Not all vendors do those 2-ounce versions. So if they don't give them a hard time. There's no reason that everyone needs to do those, but when you find them and you're on a budget, that's a great alternative there. Next up, very similar vein to that, which is looking for bundles. Sometimes they will offer differences where it'd be like 3 for 25 or 5 for 40, or you might get a sample pack deal, or they got some kind of promo going on, right? Ask. If you don't see anything and nothing's clearly laid out or told to you, and you're getting ready to purchase and you have an idea of which ones you want, just go ahead and ask. Maybe there's a deal that's running for that event. Maybe they have some kind of follow us on social media for a said discount. All these things really come into play whenever you're evaluating for a bundle. That also rolls into tip number 5, which is ask for a multi-buy discount. Don't be shy. If you do get offered a deal, if it's for more than one bottle, and it's say like 2 bottles that you for sure want and 1 bottle that you were like, that was good, but I don't know how I would use it. If it's a discount and it will save you on that, and you get an extra sauce, I would recommend you go ahead and grab that multi-buy discount, and don't be shy about that one. So pretty simple there. Next, we kind of touched on this a little bit here and there, but it is knowing your habits. So before you came into the event and before you got, the day started, you probably knew what your breakfast was going to look like. You might have an idea of what lunch is going to look like or dinner, and you have a general idea of what you eat on a daily basis. So going to these events with that in mind, knowing that, hey, I like to eat eggs every day for breakfast, or I like to have tacos on Tuesdays or Thursdays, and having this whole rundown of different items that you like to eat is going to be absolutely crucial, because from there you can gain a real good understanding and really make sure you're being intentional with your purchases by just simply focusing on products that would fit in your day-to-day. So if you're on a budget, you want to stay focused on what your shopping habits should be about based on your eating habits. So that is a crucial one there. Next is going to be pretty similar. And this is, to me, not something that I would always say, but if you are, once again, if you're working on your own tolerance and you know that you have just broken out into like habanero level and you're starting to get comfortable with it there, but higher heat sauces tend to kind of, you use them very sparing, right? Here's a great way to look at this. It's going to be really skipping out on anything that's like, high up there in that threshold. If you know personally you can't handle it that much, you don't have to look like the Mr. Macho, I'm going to beat my chest and get this bottle, only to know deep down inside that you're probably not going to use it that fast or at all. You might as well save your cash, spend it on another product, another hot sauce that you will use, that you do love. The tough guy, I can do this, doesn't really have to apply here. Definitely being smart with that cash while you're on a budget is going to be crucial. If you're going to buy it, you might as well use it. So next up, we have watch for really kind of like clearance deals is kind of the easiest way to say this. Oftentimes if it's just like a one-day event, a lot of times at the end of the event, this won't really play into effect. But if it's a multi-day event, or you are, it's a really long event for the day, sometimes towards the end, there will be some, what I like to dub clearance events, right? Oftentimes it is a pain. It's a lot of money to spend to be able to get these bottles and products back from where they are now at the event back to wherever home is. So oftentimes there will be a discounted clearance time frame towards the very last day, at the very last hours. That's a great time to maximize what you have budget-wise. So if you know you're going to be walking in with a limited budget, that's a great way to go about it. However, there's a trade-off here. That also means that you'll likely miss out on some of the products that you do really like because they might have already sold out. So a little bit of double-edged sword, being smart with how it goes, knowing what you're doing is going to be crucial here. Up next, it's maybe you love the sauce, maybe you love the product that they have there, but you know you've run out of your spendable budget. So what do? Well, you ask them, hey, do you sell online? Do you ship online? Are you found at any local stores around here, etc.? Or asking if they have any kind of bundle discounts online or post-festival sales that will be going on for those that attended. This is a great time to be able to grab that information, grab that know-how, and have that written down, either in your notes, having that picture, maybe they give you a flyer, whatever the case may be, and then you know how you can order online and not really disrupt what that breakdown budget was for that event. That is a great way to go about that. And, well, number 10, I had to have this one on there. I know we're talking about being on a budget, but saving room for surprises, leave yourself another like $10, $15 buffer in your budget, because it will happen. You'll find something unexpected that really blows your socks off, and you're going to want to grab it. And if you don't allow yourself that $10 to $15 buffer, then you're going to be very sad. So make sure you're planning ahead and planning properly, utilizing every dollar to its fullest, and you will be absolutely loving it. So let's talk quick etiquette. So let's have a little bit of a etiquette check here. Oftentimes a lot of people just fly through these events and it's me, person-centric focused, and that's the whole thing. I think we can do things better, right? But once again, if that is you and that's what you want to do, cool, do it. But ultimately being able to make sure that not only you have a great time, but all those others that are there at the event have a great time and are able to understand what each vendor brings and the great products they have at the table. And maximizing that means that the community continues to grow. And when the community grows, we all win because more great products come out, and we all get to benefit from the amazing flavor and heat that they bring. So first up, don't crowd the table. Don't cut the lines. Be chill, even if you're excited. It's really easy to get super excited, run up there, and then just start bumping your way in. It's okay. You don't have to do that. You're going to be able to get your chance at the table. You're going to be able to ask your questions. And if you cut the line, you might not get into those deeper conversations that you might want to in order to gain a better understanding of that company, who they are, why they have the products they have, etc. So being able to not crowd the table, not cut the lines, and just share that experience with everyone around you is going to be absolutely fun, crucial, and watching the community grow. If someone says something's too hot, go ahead and believe them. Don't just be the one guy that's up there who's trying to flex on both ends and then coughing for 20 minutes and, ultimately eating up everyone else's time that's there trying to get up to the table and try things. It's not super impressive. You're not going to just absolutely win over the hearts of everyone around you by, having a big meltdown and scene right then and there. So being cautious of that is going to be absolutely crucial and a great way to show that you care about the event, you care about everything that's going on there, and you're having a good time, and you're making sure everyone else has a great time. So next up, this one is, should be pretty second nature, but just in case, go ahead and mention it now. Make sure you compliment these vendors. If they're out there and you love their products, make sure you take the time to let them know that you love their products, why you love their products, how you use their products. That bit of boost right there helps, what might already be a long day for them. You don't know what's going on beforehand. You don't know how the day's been going for them or the whole entire event if it's a multi-day. So hearing the positive feedback, knowing what's going on, and how you're utilizing that is absolutely a huge boost and a great way to continue to add that positivity and spread that energy back to those that are out there, just making sure that you're able to enjoy and get a better understanding of their products. So, also you can take note of, like, if they're a business card, follow them online, show your support in many different ways. It doesn't always have to be that you're just buying everything they have. There's many ways to show support, and support goes a long way. Oh, and also, not something that commonly happens, but bring breath mints or gum, especially if you're talking to vendors or other creators. Just trust me, you're gonna want to have some breath mints or some gum. Keep that breath fresh. Definitely after you've sampled all day long, you might either have a lot of weird aromas going on from the mixture of things that you've intaked, or simply just making sure that others want to be in close proximity to you. Now, I touched on this earlier, but this is another pro tip. If this is an outdoor event, or if you're allowed to bring in food or drinks, go ahead and pack in your favorite things that help kind of cool you down, cool you off. That will be helpful and crucial. Definitely if your tolerance isn't quite there, or even if your tolerance is there, it's always nice to have something to be able to eat, and so you're not hungry and you're just not getting hangry, right? So crucial to have that. If it is an outdoor event, pack one of those like heat towels. You can put it on your neck, really cool yourself down. Definitely in those peak heat seasons with the outdoor events, that'll be an absolute game changer, time saver. And as that natural sun beating down on you heats you up, you won't be also combating the heat from the sauce or spicy products. You'll be well prepared and able to keep your body temperature nice, cool, and regulated. Whether it's your first hot sauce festival or your 15th, I hope that today gave you the confidence and strategies needed to make the most of it and be able to feel confident and collected as you're going through there. From pacing your tastings to stretching your budget, approaching the booths like a pro, and finding those hidden gems, I believe that you now are ready. If you got a festival story or a hot pepper competition story, and it's pretty wild and crazy, or you had a great time at one and you wanted to share a little bit about that, drop it in the comments down below, DM me on socials, and let me know what that story was or how that impacted you, or if you have any future tips that you want to add. We'll be continuing to share these out as well with others in the Swear Nation. And don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night. You can find the Swear Word Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, and of course, you can keep up with on any other socials, as well as a one-stop shop to find all the social links, all the podcast links, merch, etc. on theswearword.net. And head on over there as new additions roll out for the website. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I will be making announcements as that drops. There's going to be a lot more fun, crucial things, as far as I know a lot of y'all have asked for the Hot or Not official scorecards, the evaluation system of how to be able to find which sauces have the highest flavor rating, aroma, etc., or spicy products in general. We'll be breaking those out and having those there here shortly. So keep your eyes peeled for announcements as it rolls out, and I'll just be breaking that off into chunks with each update. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you are looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, Highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all those needs, as well as webdx.one. If you have an online website, maybe you don't have a website, maybe you had a guy and you lost contact with them, highly recommend checking out webdx.one to make your web presence appear and look just as stunning as you and the work that you do. So don't let your online profile and presence really slack. Let's get with WebDX and get it right. And if you're going to be out at Zest Fest this weekend, let me know in the comments below. Reach out to me on socials. I will be running around, meeting, mingling, recording content, and having a great time. So I look forward to seeing all of y'all at Zest Fest. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.